Big political drama is shaking the United Kingdom right now. Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner has officially resigned, and the ripple effects are spreading fast. The news broke after reports that she failed to pay the correct amount of property tax on a recent home purchase, sparking a scandal that quickly grew into a national storm. For Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who is already battling sliding poll numbers, this is the last thing he needed. Rayner wasn't just any cabinet member. She was one of Labour's most recognizable and relatable political figures, admired for her working-class roots and fiery personality. Her exit leaves a massive hole in Starmer's leadership team and raises tough questions about whether Labour can hold on to the momentum it gained just months ago with its landslide election victory. The scandal centers on an apartment Rayner bought earlier this year in Hove, on England's southern coast. She reportedly paid £30,000 in stamp duty tax instead of the £70,000 that should have been charged if the property had been considered a second home. Rayner argued she acted on legal advice and believed she wasn't required to pay the higher rate because she had already sold her stake in her previous home and placed it into a trust for her children. Still, critics, particularly opposition parties and Britain's tabloid press, latched on to the story. They branded her a hypocrite for hammering conservative ministers over similar controversies in the past. What started as a financial slip-up quickly escalated into a political crisis that proved too difficult to survive. Rayner's resignation is a big personal loss for Labour. She stood out because of her authenticity and her ability to connect with voters in a way many polished, elite politicians couldn't. Growing up poor on the outskirts of Manchester, becoming a mother at 16, and working as a carer before entering politics, she built her career on being relatable. Her straightforward, down-to-earth style made her a favorite among young voters, who often saw her as the real deal. Compared to more traditional leaders, videos of her dancing at Pride events, speaking bluntly in Parliament, and even being spotted vaping in an inflatable canoe added to her reputation as a unique and unfiltered voice. Losing that energy at the top levels of government will sting Labour hard, especially with Starmer often criticized as too reserved and distant. For Prime Minister Keir Starmer, defending Rayner became more complicated with each passing day. At first, he stood by her, insisting she had done nothing deliberately wrong. But as headlines grew louder and critics highlighted the irony of Labour pushing for higher property taxes during a national housing crisis, the pressure became overwhelming. Starmer's government has already faced a rough summer, with opinion polls showing Labour sliding, while the upstart Reform UK party surges ahead. The Reform Party's anti-establishment message is resonating with voters who feel let down by both major parties. Rayner's departure and the scandal surrounding it risks fueling that narrative even further. Instead of focusing on policy, Labour is now stuck managing damage control at a critical moment. The big question now is what this means for Labour's future. Some analysts suggest Starmer may quietly welcome the resignation of a popular figure who is also seen as a potential rival for his job. But the reality is that Rayner's exit weakens the party at a time when it can least afford to lose strong voices. Labour's landslide win in 2024 now feels like a distant memory, as cracks within the leadership are exposed and public confidence wavers. With Reform UK gaining traction and Britain's economic challenges still pressing, Labour needs stability and fast. Whether Starmer can turn this crisis into an opportunity or whether it marks the beginning of deeper trouble for his government remains to be seen. One thing's for sure, Angela Rayner's resignation has sent shockwaves through British politics, and its impact will be felt far beyond this week's headlines. For viewers in the United States, this story might feel familiar because it highlights a universal truth about politics. Leaders often rise to power on their ability to connect with ordinary people, but they can just as quickly fall when questions of trust and integrity arise. Angela Rayner's story is a reminder that even small financial missteps can turn into massive scandals when placed under the public spotlight. For Labour, this